Yup, honestly, this is probably my favorite video to do. Yup, we have the 2023 NFL edge rushers that I'm going to grade. It's going to be pretty fun to go through. Of course, this position has a lot of freaking really good athletes, and it's also a really deep position. I think it's one of the best parts in the NFL, and one of the most important positions for sure. It will be really interesting to go through all these guys. Let's go. 2023 NFL edge rusher grades. Yeah, here we go. And with that, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the NFL. Of course, please like and subscribe, and I hope you guys enjoy the 2023 NFL tier rankings for the edge rushing position. Of course, this is a position that has a ton, and I mean a ton of really good players. It's definitely going to be a group that I'm going to have tough with some guys, but it should be fun. Of course, again, there's just a lot of guys who play this position that are really good. So, definitely fun to go through again. Rookies and ungradable players. Again, guys that are coming off injuries and stuff that just don't really know where to put them. And then again, rookies, probably not going to grade all of them. F, I mean, you're just terrible. You don't get sacks. You don't really do much in the run game against the run. You don't set the edge well. You don't really do anything. Maybe, like, you're not really an edge rusher, too. I'll put guys there, too, if they're not really that either. D tier, they might get you a sack season, but they're really not going to get much pressure at all, and they get pushed around a little in the run game. C tier, usually these are the guys that just don't get too much pressure. They're bend, or they're just really stiff, or they have a really big weakness. Like, I'm not kidding. There are guys who can get after quarterback, but either they can't stay healthy, or they just simply are terrible against the run. They will go in this tier. B tier, they're really solid players. They're not, like, the most dynamic passers. They usually need another guy to help them out. And sometimes they're not even that good at passers. They're just really good against the run, or opposite ways. A tier, usually solid pass rushers. They're not always the best guys, though. Again, not always truly number one. Some of them are. Most of you guys are really good. Again, from the quarterback, like, you are probably, like, really good chance you're number one. Maybe a couple guys aren't, but, yeah, you're really solid outside that. S tier, I mean, these are your best pass rushers in the league. Like, probably a sack a game or something like that. They get a ton of pressure. They're elite. And then number one is, like, your best pass rushers in the league. Like, that's how you want on the field. That's all I got there, though. Let's get right into it. Starting out with Alex Highsmith of the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, keeping it going, I'll be honest. I do think Alex Highsmith is an A-tier pass rusher at this point. So, against the run, he's not the greatest. He definitely needs to get better with block shedding. But his just straight up raw power and his ability to get around the edge, like, really fast is something that guys just don't have that are below him. I mean, he could be a number one pass rusher on a lot of teams. Like, if the Rams had him, I'd be so thrilled. He's so good. The reason he's not S tier is because he has TJ Watt on his team, and he's just not good enough against the run yet. But as a pass rusher, he's one of the better guys. He only had 14.5 sacks this season. Got so much pressure. He's a monster. Quiddy Pay, I have to put in C tier. He did improve a lot throughout the whole season, but just the fact that he wasn't very, like, great. He didn't get enough pressure for me to really see anything improvement. He did show a lot of good flashes, though, but again, he just didn't show enough pressure or consistency to really give me that, and he's never going to be the greatest against the run. Samson Ebukam isn't really a true starting caliber player, but he goes in C tier because when he gets sacks, he gets big sacks, like big-time plays. He comes through when you need him to, kind of like Frank Clark, just more dynamic, and he also is really good against the run, too. So, I actually a lot for that. He's, not the most consistent. He's going to get shut down a lot, but he does make a couple big plays. Josh Allen is, do I give him A tier? We'll give him A tier. Here's the difference between Josh Allen and Alex Highsmith. Alex Highsmith has never really been a true number one. Again, the difference between these two is that Josh Allen always gets double teamed and always is the focus of the offensive line. Like, they're trying to stop him. And not only that, though, he is more versatile than Alex Highsmith. That's really why he's an A tier. He's not a better pass rusher by any means, but he does get a lot. Again, still gets a lot of pressure. Is a number one guy for sure. It's just the fact that he makes a lot more plays, and he's also the leader of that Jags defense. Trayvon Walker, I'll still probably, but do I put him in ungradable? I think it's still too early to tell, so we'll put him in ungradable. He did have a really I wouldn't say promising rookie season, but he definitely played the way I expected him, to be honest. He was really raw for most of the season. The moves that you're used to seeing in college from just weren't really there. He wasn't the most productive by any means, but when he got things going, especially in that playoff game, he was really freaking good again. You could see those flash plays. If he can just show those flashes a little more and again, he could probably be in that B tier by the end of this year. Again, still developing. Will Anderson, again, still a rookie. I'm really interested to see how his play style translates, because when offensive linemen like Darnell Wright really made him win with power, he just didn't really do that. He's really a finesse rusher at this point. But I will say he has shown some flashes again in college at being able to win with power. Outside of that, though, in the run game, again, he gets pushed around a little bit, but he does, again, he's able to shed blocks better than basically every single player in the draft in the past 5 years, which is pretty crazy to say. I mean, again, he's not the most athletic or fast guy, but he plays really smart, and I wouldn't say he's not fast, because he gets really good bend, but he might not have the same length that some of these other guys do. Is this Jonathan Grant to put in C tier. When he played last year, he just wasn't the same player he was in 2021, where no matter what, you weren't stopping him against, you were not stopping him. He had 8 sacks, yes, but he, got really fit, fast pressure, which was huge for him. Again, maybe not the most consistent dude, but he was really good in 2021. Just didn't really do a lot last year. Again, got hurt too, so keeping that in mind. Jerry Hughes, I got to honestly, do I give him B tier? I can't. He's so old. Jerry Hughes is still playing really well. It's just the fact that he's old now and he just isn't. You can't rely on him to be that good of a passer rusher. And he's really bad against the run. Again, Jerry Hughes is a huge week 1, but again, he does get sacks. I mean, I don't know. He's so old, but he's still sticking around doing his job. So I want to give him B tier really bad. I just can't. I will give Harold Landry that though. Again, the really only reason he's not an A tier is because again he was in 2021. He tore his ACL and he's had some issues with his rehab, which I think is going to be a little slow him down a little bit, which means he won't be able to be as fast. But outside of that, he's really good. Arden Key, I got to put in D tier. I still don't know why people are hyping him. Again, against the run, he's pretty solid, but as an athlete, I don't see the wow factor with him. Randy Gregory, I gotta put in C tier. As an actual pass rusher, he's probably B tier. He could probably be even S tier, his highest potential. But he's never freaking healthy, and I still don't see the consistency that I'd expect from him for a guy who's supposed to be really good with the Cowboys. Baron Browning, also C tier. He's just not really a true pass rusher. He makes a lot of big plays for that Broncos defense. You could argue he's B tier, but again, only had 5 sacks last season. Didn't have consistent pressure. And for a number 1, he's just not, again, just doesn't look so great. But again, he makes a lot of nice plays. I respect a lot out of him. Again, if you're just going to develop more of his pass rusher with more of a plan, he could definitely be in that B tier. Joey Bosa, A tier. He's not an S tier in my opinion, at least right now. Again, coming off those injuries, again, he was still pretty good when he played, but I don't think he was the same player he used to. Again, this could be a little ridiculous in my opinion, but he could, again, very close to S tier. He hasn't, last season he really just didn't look the same. So I'm going to drop him down a little down to A tier. Khalil Mack, B tier, still a really good, respectable power rusher, but he doesn't shed blocks as well as he used to. So, and he's not, I wouldn't say he's not as smart, but he doesn't he's not as explosive off the line as you're used to seeing with that first step, which really got in his prime. He was super good. So he's getting a little older, but he's still a respectable pass rusher. George Karlaftis, C tier, again, he could probably very well take off, but I just can't really give him anything higher right now, considering the fact that he just didn't do a ton at the beginning of the season, maybe absolutely anything even. The Dukes and Dookies, I'm probably going to go right here. I'd be surprised if he had more than 6 sacks this season. That's just kind of what I got. Again, George Karlaftis is kind of the same development with him. The only difference is that George Karlaftis is definitely a more better power rusher, and that really got him going. So I don't know if Felix Andugui's this year at least will have a productive year. So that's all I'll say about him. Max Crosby is S tier. He's probably the 2nd or 3rd best rusher in the league. He's the most relentless guy. Yes, is his his pass rush plan and his spin moves and all that crap the best? No, but he's a very, very good athlete. His bend is off the charts. He the most fierce guy to go after. He's really hard to block, and of course he just gets to the quarterback one way or another. He'll do whatever he needs to do it and get very, very, very dynamic power rusher. Chandler Jones, C tier. He was a bum last year, but then again, I can't give him D tier because he does still get some pressure at least. Again, against the run, he's not very good, but again, he at least gets some pressure for a guy who was pretty bad last year. Tyree Wilson, I will put in B tier because I do think very worse he'll be good against the run and just not. You know, do I put him with Will Anderson? I think that is fair because the only difference between Tyree Wilson will probably be better because he's, again, against the run, but he doesn't really have a plan yet Will Anderson does. So I do think that's, basically I would probably take Tyree Wilson over Will Anderson, at least at this point, just because of the fact that Tyree Wilson does just is a more, I don't know, I think he sticks in the NFL better than him, but, yeah, they're both, again, kind of in the same situation, but, again, very different players. Chase Young, B tier, again, you just can't take away the talent, but he hasn't really played, actually in the full season since Week 10. And not going to lie, 2020, his rookie season, left him a lot to be desired, even though he won Defensive Rookie of the Year, and it wasn't really a disappointing year by any means. 2021, though, that was definitely a disappointing year. Again, he didn't really get it going at all. Then again, he tore his ACL, then last season didn't really play at all. So this season, again, you guys still got to give him B. He was number 1 B tier because he was still the number 2 pick, and he's still so talented. You just can't take that off his plate. Montez Sweat will go to A tier because he really carried that pass rush for most of the season, at least on the outside. Again, he does have 2 really, really good interior guys, but he carried the load against the run too. Montez Sweat is very underrated, even if his sacks numbers aren't that crazy. Dorrance Armstrong will probably get C tier. He does make a lot of nice plays, but against the run, he's just not as good. I think that's where he shows his true colors because if Micah Parsons and Marcus Lawrence were on the field, he wouldn't be the same playing player. Speaking of that, Micah Parsons gets S tier. He can basically play anywhere on the line and still be good. Again, he can cover, too. It's ridiculous. Again, I'm kind of speaking outside of that, but he just gets so many sacks, so athletic. Honestly, you could argue he's the best young defensive player in the league, outside of probably Nick Bosa, which we'll get to later. DeMarcus Lawrence, I'll give him A tier. Again, sack numbers be damned. He is so good against the run. He's probably the best edge run defender in the whole league. He is so hard to get around, and even if he doesn't, again, Sack numbers be damned. He's that good on against the run. Brandon Graham, B tier. He's still a good pass rusher, but again, he's still getting older. I don't know what else to say about that. He's very good power rusher, but he's still getting older. Is this Josh Sweat? I think this is. No, is it? Let me think. That is Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat go B tier, kind of like Brandon Graham, except the fact that Josh Sweat is a lot younger, kind of like very, very similar players. But I would say Josh Sweat does have is a little more creative, which I do like for a guy who might not be the most well-known guy. Hassan Reddick is S tier in my opinion. He was honestly the most disruptive and most consistent pass rusher last year in terms of getting to the quarterback. He was getting the quarterback more than anyone else. Again, maybe not literally, but he was. Maybe not pressure-wise either, but Hassan Reddick is elite because his finesse moves are just off the charts. Nolan Smith will go on ungradable because again he's just so young. I just can't really do that yet. Again, he was a second-round pick for a reason. Derek Fournette will probably go in D tier. He just doesn't get after the quarterback. Just not very good. Even if he gets the run, he just didn't look as good last year. There's a reason he's third string guy. I didn't want to include him though because he was a starter at the beginning of last year. If you didn't know, Kayvon Thibodeau, so high ceiling. I'll put him in D tier. He showed so many flashes. I do think he'll break out this year though. Even if it's not this year, it'll be next year. I do expect him to have 10 sacks though. He's ready to go off. He has a higher potential than Aiden Hutchinson. If you didn't know either. Azeez Ojulari C tier. He stays healthy. He's a very good pass rusher. This has to be Yannick Ngakoue. He'll go in B tier. Again, I get the injuries a little bit, but Yannick Ngakoue is a solid guy. Very, very, very reliable to get after quarterback. He might not be a true number one, but he will get you pressure. DeMarcus Walker, I don't know what the big hype about him is. Again, it was a good trade, I guess, for the Bears, but not even trade. He just didn't really do a lot with the Titans. I don't know what the big hype about him is. Aiden Hutchinson, I want to put him A tier. I just can't yet because, again, he still has some stuff to work on with his power moves. And, again, those small hands, which arms aren't the biggest deal, not TRX arms, but his scissor moves, he relied on, I think, a little bit too much. I think this is Romeo Okwara. Yeah, it is. Romeo Okwara I'll put in C tier because, again, he hasn't really played at all since 2020. And last year when he did play, he actually looked pretty good. So, for a guy who's proven he can be a decent pass rusher, I'll keep him in C tier, even though he hasn't been healthy. Charles Harris is D tier. He was bad last year. Again, had a really, basically, his career-saving 2021. Didn't look so good last year. Probably have to do the same thing he did back in 2021. Probably stay in this team. Preston Smith, B tier. He's a good pass rusher. I wouldn't say he's A tier anymore. He just doesn't really make the same high pressure. Very, very good complimentary guy, though. Rashawn Garrett, I want to put in S tier, but I have to keep him in A tier because I don't know if he's actually better than some of these dudes. Athletically and talent-wise, he's probably close to Chase Young, but again, injury last season, he was on a walking boot for the rest of the season. I can't really give him that S tier, especially since he hasn't put up that type of production yet. Lucas Finesse, I want to put him rookie, but I'm put him in C tier because he is actually pretty good enough against the run for I think he'll stick around. And again, not the highest ceiling. I don't think he'll get too many sacks either, but for a finesse type of defender, he definitely lives on the edge a little bit. Daniil Hunter, A tier. He's still a really good passer, so I get he's not S tier like some people thought he would be, but he's still ridiculous. This has to be. This is where's Zadarius Smith? Isn't that Zadarius Smith or is it not? I swear this is Zadarius Smith. Is it? I can't see. Wait. Zadarius. That can't be him, right? No, it isn't. It's, this is Marcus Davenport. Marcus Davenport goes in C tier. He was bad last year when he played. 2021, he was good, but last year he just wasn't very good. Again, I get the fact that he's a really good run defender, but that just doesn't do me a lot because his pass rush has never been there. I'm going to say this is probably DJ Wanham. I want to put him in B tier, but he hasn't really been a true starter outside of that year in 2020, so I'll keep him in C tier, but he's really good. Pat Jones I have to put in D tier. Again, he does get some sacks and gets some decent pressure, but he's more of a backup guy. The reason I have him on this list, though, is as a starter, I do think he'd be serviceable. He just won't give you the consistent pressure you need from a starter. Joe Tryon, probably going to put him in D tier. It's make or break year for him. Shaq Barrett, B tier. The only reason he's here is because last season he didn't play that well. And, yeah, he hasn't, and he got hurt, too. So, I think he's getting a little older. This is this Lorenzo Carter? No, this is Arnold Bikini. I'll put him in D tier. He wasn't good last year. I don't know. As a rookie, he just did not show anything. Bud Dupree, C tier. I mean, you can talk all the crap you want about him. Again, he probably will never get back to the 2020 form of him when he was with the Steelers. But, dang, this guy still can get after the quarterback. Might be 2019. This has to be Marcus Golden. I'll put him in B tier because when he has a number 2 pass rusher, he's number 1 pass rusher behind him, he's ridiculous. He gets so much pressure. You got to realize, Marcus Golden, even if he doesn't have anyone, he still figures out a way to be productive. So he's a definitely scratchy guy to be honest, and tough guy to stop. Lorenzo Carter, D tier. I like the way he played towards the end of last year as a starter, but like he just doesn't do enough against the run to really get me anything, especially since he's never really been that much of a pass rusher. Brian Burns, A tier, not an S tier rusher. He just is again really solid number one like Joey Bosa, but he just really hasn't like exploded like oh my god just yet. He's still very very good though. Uturgos Matos, F tier, bust. Like he's just not good. James Houston, though, do I give him B tier? I'll keep him C tier because there's a very good chance he'll regress a little bit, but he gets sacks, he gets pressure. He was the Ravens' number one pass rusher last year. Cam Jordan, A tier. He's still getting older, but he's still getting sacks. Like, power rusher, pretty good there. Carl Granderson, probably C tier, yeah. Peyton Turner, F tier, just not very good. Zaven Collins, he's not an F tier pass rusher, he's just not a pass rusher. I don't know what the hell the Cardinals are trying to do with him. He's literally a linebacker. Jonathan Ledbetter, I'll probably put him in F tier too. Doesn't belong as a starter, just doesn't get much pressure at all. But he is at least somewhat okay against the run. Nick Bosa, number one. He won Defense Player of the Year last year. Undoubtedly the most. He was the most dominant defender last season. He got so many sacks, so much pressure. But there were times where he did struggle a little bit. Not a lot, but just a little bit. Like he just had to get back in the flow of the game. Hassan Reddick never had to do that. He was always in the flow. So that's literally the only thing I got to say about him. But Nick Bosa is definitely better than Hassan Reddick. Who's this? Drake Jackson, C tier. Again, a lot of potential, but he just hasn't really put it all together yet. Michael Hoyt is probably F tier. He just is not a pass rusher. Again, he can get after quarterback, but I think he's much better in 3-tech. Byron Young's in D tier. I think the potential is really ignored with him. Again, if he can just basically get a plan, he could be so dynamic off the edge. This must be Uchenna Nwosu. I'll put him in B tier. Again, he really has never had to be like the true number one. Like no one else is there. That's why he's not in A tier. Like all these other guys have had to do at least at one point. Darrell Taylor. No, this is Boy Amave. Darrell Taylor's also B tier. Really solid third round pick by the Seahawks. He's really showed up as a player. He's looked really good in his 2 seasons. Again, slow start to the season, but definitely stepped up. Boy Amave. I want to put him B tier. So much potential, but last season just again rookie. I can't really give him that unless he was insane, which he wasn't. So. He's gonna get this probably star again. These two will still get the same amount of pass rushing snaps probably. Maybe Uchenna Nwosu better because he's better than Darrell Taylor against the run. But Boy Amave is just such a could be so good. I like the fact they're gonna give him more snaps. T.J. Watt is still S tier. Again, he's coming off a season where he got hurt a lot again. But when he was on the field again, maybe he wasn't as dominant as you'd think he would be. Like, he wasn't that crazy. But you just can't ignore the 2021 season where you literally tied the sack record. You just can't. So I have to keep him in S tier. Derek Hall, again, just for the storyline, again, he had basically cancer and he almost died like before he was even born. It's crazy how he lived. Great story there. He also can ball. Von Miller, probably still A tier. I respect the heck out of him, but coming off that ACL tear at his age, I don't know if he can be like this. Again, when he was playing last year, he was an S tier player. He was definitely a top, very least top 7 guy. Greg Rousseau, I think this is, yeah. Greg Rousseau is going to go in A tier too. He was huge for the Bills in that 6-game winning streak they had at the end of the year. He stepped it up. He was like really good, and he could have 15 sacks this year. Like I'm not even kidding. Really hyping him up a lot, but he definitely deserves it. This is Leonard Floyd. I'll give him B tier. He's a good pass rusher. Again, I honestly could argue he could be an A tier at some points, but he's not consistent enough, and he doesn't really have a power rush game or the capabilities to really. Again, he's just a really good player. Like with the Rams, he was huge with them. I will say this though, getting a little older, didn't get as much consistent pressure when Aaron Donald was on the field, so I can't give him that A tier, but he's very good. AJ Epineza, C tier. He's not D tier. He does get good pressure when he's on the field, but he's really a rotational guy. Bradley Chubb is probably B tier. He's still a good player. You gotta understand this. Like he might not be the most consistent pass rusher at all, but he at least gets you some help in the run game. Jalen Phillips is A tier. I think he could very well be the lead the league in sacks this year. He is just ridiculous. Like he is so athletic. His bend is the best in the league in my opinion, outside of Nick Bosa. Jalen Phillips is ridiculous. John Franklin Myers is probably still A tier too. I get the fact that people don't like the way he gets at the quarterback. He doesn't do it as well, but he is like probably the most balanced edge rusher in the whole league. He can do basically everything at a really good level, and not only that though, but he does have the numbers to support the fact that he does get pressure. Carl Lawson, again, another good passer. He just doesn't stay on the field enough, and he's really kind of a puppy against the run. That's what I gotta say about him. And I think this is Jermaine Johnson. I'll put him in C tier. He showed some promise last season, but he still has some work to do. And of course, I'll put Will McDonald right in the rookies tier because again, he is a rookie and he probably won't get too many snaps this year. Matt Judon, I'm gonna put in S tier. Best player in the Patriots defense. He gets a ton of pressure and he's really good against the run. Like really good. Honestly, I don't care. I'm putting Josh Uche in the A tier. He is so, he has this one move. It's kind of like a swan move, but it goes to the inside. He also can use like a fake step to the outside. And his first step and his third step are so nasty. I mean, he's just, like, again, this is kind of eye candy here, but Josh Uche last season was so freaking good. Again, he's better than these guys in B tier. He's so good, like, just coming off of last season. Trey Hendrickson, B tier, just wasn't the same player last year, but he is still a #1 guy. I'd be fine if you put him in A tier. You know, I'll keep him in A tier. Sam Hubbard, probably B tier. He's like low in B. Again, he makes plays. He does show up in big spots. Like, he does his job, but he's just not really a #1. Miles Murphy, a lot of potential, but just not there yet. And then Joseph Osai, I'll probably put in D tier. Rough start to his career. Myles Garrett's also S tier. Again, there's so many good edge rushers. I do think that Matt Judon fits in this group, though. Myles Garrett's probably the second best edge rusher in the league, though, because he just capably just makes, again, super consistent. Zary Smith, B tier. Again, you can talk all you want about him maybe being S tier. A tier. He just doesn't support the run the way he needs to. Doesn't set the edge either, so I gotta keep him there. Jadeveon Clowney, probably C tier. Last season he was bad. I'm sorry, just was. He wasn't even good against the run. But again, he was good in 2021. If you can just get back to that, he'll definitely be in B tier. But I can't do that right now. He just was bad last year. This is David Ojabo. I gotta keep him here. Very high potential though. Adafe Owe, D tier, kind of like same like Joe Tryon, make or break year for him. And then this is Nick Benito, F tier. I don't like him. He's just not good. He gets crushed in the run game. And I don't know. I just don't see him that good. This could be a little bit mean, but there's a reason he didn't get many snaps last year. He'll start this season. Again, he's looked good in preseason, but as a way he's played on the field so far, he has not shown me anything to think that he's that good. So, yeah, that's all I got to say about these edge rushers. Again, ton of dudes to go through, but I've got, again, A tier, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 guys right in A tier. Then I've got, yeah, the top 22 pass rushers are A tier or better. There's a lot of good pass rushers in the league. Again, it's definitely a part of the league that is, again, really growing and getting a lot stronger, which is really cool to see. Like, Will Anderson and Tyree Wilson should be really good. So this is a really good group of guys. Can they get paid big bucks because their job is to freaking sack the quarterback and stop the run, which again isn't really as big as a deal, but it is in my opinion. I think you gotta still be able to stop the run for an edge rusher. Again, maybe not as much as the interior dudes, but still gotta be the good there. That's all I got there, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the 2023 NFL edge rusher tier rankings. That's all. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy the next one. Those guys can be the linebackers, and of course the linebackers probably should be able to cover.
They do such a good job of knowing